What's up, guys? Didn't think I'd be out here so late, but you know, playing with my sedan and playing with my new project, a mint 2003 Cadillac Escalade Daily Driver / mild tow vehicle. It's got a 6.0 4L65 and it's all-wheel drive, all-time all-wheel drive. And I might have upgraded the sound system just like a little bit. So let's get right into it and let's start servicing and upgrading my new Escalade, which you'll see when it's not, 10 o'clock at night because I worked late and spark plugs took me a little longer than I thought. What's up, guys? Legacy 4x4 here, back again. We got something different coming up. This time we're working on my brand new daily driver and tow vehicle, a mint 2003 Cadillac Escalade. So what do we have for the Escalade coming up first? We have a whole mess load of fluids, filters, gaskets, we have the whole 9 yards for the preventative maintenance that we're gonna do on it. But we also have a sound system, as in we're gonna upgrade the Bose sound system, which sounds great. We're gonna upgrade that to what's already in there by adding subs. So what subs are we gonna add? We are gonna add two 15s. They are audio pipe 15s. They are not the most expensive 15s you can get, but nothing I'm gonna run on it is really gonna be expensive. It's not like a competition system. It's just gonna sound amazing. So what do we get? We have, this is a 6 CD to holder, just adapter. It gets rid of the 6 CD player because no one uses that. Extra mounts in case I need them. We have a Sony head unit. This is, I'm not sure on the exact one. It's just like the $200 one. It's the one I always get on Amazon. We have a wiring harness / wiring setup for the subs. We have a capacitor too. Why not? That's an extra 20 bucks. Why not? We might need it for the 15s. I never know. We have a Planet Audio 2600 watt amp, and like I said, we have two audio pipe 15s, and the box gets here today. And pigtails for wiring. So we're gonna get to and also a rear view camera, because you can't not have a rear view camera. It's 2020. You gotta have a rear view camera. And the 2003 Escalade didn't have one, so is what it is. I'm gonna get tearing out the old head unit, putting the new one in with the sub wiring and the rear view camera wired into it. That way I can just button all that all up. That way when my box gets here, I can put the subs in the box and just finish it up really quickly. So I know I skipped over the majority of building that system, as in all of building that system, and that's because I was sick with COVID and I didn't feel like recording it, so I wanted to just get it knocked out of the way. And don't really like to record when I'm knocking things out of the way, but it works. It's loud, it bumps, it is not quiet, it rattles the back, and yeah. The next step we're gonna do is tint the rear tail lights. So I don't like using roll-on tint. I find it mildly annoying. So we're gonna do a few coats of VHT nightshades. This stuff is pretty great. Takes 2 coats really, for the most part, to tint it. You can see the third tail light up top. That's 1 coat. It's looking nice and pretty. You can see where I missed some spots. The sun is shining through, and that's okay. I'm gonna hit it with another light coat and we're gonna be done. You don't wanna go too hard on them because then you don't have any lights. But yeah, it's legal in Georgia at least to tint the taillights. Kind of legal. All right, don't mind my summit book on the roof. That's there to, I don't know why that's there. That's just up there. I'm gonna allow those 15 minutes to flash, put another really light coat on, and we're gonna call those good to go. Back the Cadillac looking pretty. Next, we're going to do a much needed oil change on the old Caddy, and it's as easy as any other LS oil change. So it's really hot out. Heat index is like 105 today in Georgia, which is pretty dang great. Gotta love that. And yeah, I figure if you're watching this channel, you know how to change the oil, so there's not much to talk about on it. So I'm just checking the dipstick, seeing if this 6.0 is actually going to hold the 6 quarts like it's supposed to. and we're gonna move on from there to transmission fluid. So here we are. Oil is changed, as you can see, because I haven't cleaned it because I am a lazy mechanic. And we've reached our first problem with flushing the pan in the transmission. Is this bolt is stripped to hell, and a 15mm just spins freely. So I don't know if I'm gonna hammer on a 14 or try and use a SAE bolt or it's a SAE socket to get it on there nice and tight and crank it, but gotta figure out how to get that off. I really don't feel like welding anything to it because I have to bring it all over here. I don't feel like just dropping the pan and trying to get my big splash pan and just trying to catch it like that, because that's an option too. So I'm gonna sit here and lay under it and look to feed it. All right, new filters in, pan's off. All I didn't have to drop the exhaust. I just put the gear shifter into like drive, and that gave me enough room to free the pan out after loosening the bracket that holds it in. And yeah, pretty easy. I beat the oil pan. I sacrificed a socket and just welded it on the end because I want to be able to drain this in the future. So cleaned it off, put a magnet in it, and we're gonna be good to go to reinstall that pan and put more fluids in it. So let's get to that. All right, should take about 4 quarts. Back under the Escalade. This time we're gonna do the transfer case fluid because this is an all-wheel drive Escalade, as there is a front drive shaft and front differential, which we will service next. But for the transfer case, it's really easy. There's a fill plug, it's 3/8. There's a drain plug, so drain it, fill it up to where the fill line, or fill it up to where it starts leaking out the fill, plug it, and you're done. It's that easy to service these for fluids. So I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna move on to the diffs. Alright, I'm gonna knock out the front diff first. Same thing as the transfer case, just takes a 3/8 inch socket and a, for me, a 3/8 inch socket and a 13mm. Take the bolts off, bottom one's drain, top one's fill. Drop into a pan, replace, you're done. I went to this one first because the rear is gonna be a bit of a fun time. This obviously has not been changed since the car was new, 96,000 miles ago. Great, at least we're doing it. All right, just like with the transfer case, filling it with the transfer pump. I have 2 transfer pumps I have one that I use for transmission fluid, one for gear oil. This is the gear oil one. That's the setup. Let's get this done and then we'll move on to the rear. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting sick and tired of being under this car, so I'm ready to finish this up. Here's the dilemma. There is a fill hole on the side of the differential housing, but there's no drain hole on the bottom of the differential housing. So I gotta take the diff cover off, which isn't a big deal, and then put it back on, reseal with the new gasket and new sealer, and fill it from the fill hole. But while I have the diff cover off, I might as well add a drain plug to the diff cover at the very bottom, so I don't have to do this again when I want to change the diff oil, because you're supposed to do it every 10,000, and this looks like it was done, 50,000 miles ago. So gonna add a bolt to the diff cover once I get it off. Just gonna crank these 13mm bolts off and get the diff cover off and get to welding that. As you can see, there's barely any clearance coming out the inside of the pan. This is tacky enough to go put on, so I'm gonna take this to the back of the Escalade and put her back on. All right, gonna fill up the rear diff. Got the same setup, should take about 2.5 quarts. Yeah. Let's go knock the last 3 things off that we need to knock off our 100-mile service, and that's gonna be a fuel filter, spark plugs, and air filter. I already have the old one out, as you can see. Doesn't look that bad. Definitely not new, but not the worst I've ever seen. So glad we're gonna replace that. Next step is going to be fuel filter, and yeah, another great rainy day to be laying under the Escalade. But once I get done with this, we're going to the engine bay, and then we're almost done. So gonna crack these lines, replace it with a new fuel filter, and we'll be good to go. All right, looks like this one's gonna run into the night. Just gonna swap out the driver's side spark plugs. Excuse me, it's that COVID right there. But just gonna swap out the driver's side spark plugs. I have the passengers I already swapped over the new ones. And as you can see, no damage, just wear. They're all dry, no oil, no corrosion. We're looking good. That's a really good sign. That's a really, really good sign. So these were also changed recently, probably within 30,000 miles. So take that as a plus, but I'm gonna grind to the night, and we'll finish this one off when I am done. All right, you can't see, it's 9:30. Just got done. Took it around the block, drives perfect, no codes, good to go. Everything's on there nice and tight. That means we are good to go, and we're good to start enjoying the new daily driver. So there's probably gonna be a little bit more on the Escalade. There's a few other things I wanna do to it, but main content's on the 38 Sedan, 4x4, beastly thing sitting over there. So next video coming up on that is gonna be wiring, and that's coming out in a week. But yeah, I'm gonna go not drink beer and go get in bed.